Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode of Radio Royale.
I'm Cip.
And I'm Bangs.
And today we're going to talk about our failures. Whoa, coordinated. Specifically about failed cards.
So how do we decide what to put in the game? Like,
I don't know.
Nobody
knows. Actually, I think the great thing about our team is anyone can make a card. Anyone can come up with an idea. We don't really have designers per se, and it could.
We don't even have a process.
Right.
We magic it up.
yeah. It's all random chaos.
It's a constant thing that we're always like talking about every day, be it just at lunch or down the pub or just whilst we're working. And like ideas just spring up all the time. We're just always trying out. Almost every day we have a sort of play test where we just try out new ideas.
Right, and I think what we really try to focus on is getting cards that is going to change the game in some significant way. Some kind of, what is the game lacking? And that's the card I think we try to think of the most. So a lot of the times, we make all these cards, but not all of them see the light of day. So what happens? What goes on? Why did my card fail, Bangs?
So you got to try out different things, right? We can have loads of ideas, and everyone's got loads of ideas about different cards that could work.
Yeah, I think it's quite simple. We do a prototype, we put it into the game, and we basically play test it.
Yeah, it's really cool as well. Like the initial prototypes for the new cards, they're always really quick and dirty, and like an artist hasn't even touched it. A programmer's kind of just chucked in current artwork and tried to get it working as soon as possible just to try it out.
Oh yeah, a lot of the times one of our coders will just be like, hey, I made this, and we'll be like, sweet, let's play it.
So we talked about all of these cards that haven't worked.
Yes.
What are they? Are we allowed to talk about it?
Ooh, maybe we'll give them a few examples.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like hypothetical.
Right.
Yeah. So if there was a spell perhaps named Dark Mirror,
never heard of it.
What would it do? What would it do?
It might mirror the opponent's card.
Ooh.
Right.
So it's like a standard mirror.
Yes, but darker.
But darker. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So for example, if they play princess, you don't have a princess. Hey, guess what? You have a dark mirror. You can mirror that princess.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. The first time we tried this, we totally didn't try this. But the first time we tried,
right. We didn't try it, but say we did try it. Yes.
Say we did try it. Like we had problems where I guess one of the issues would be, what if you cast it and then the player casts another spell as you're casting the dark mirror?
Right. Yeah. What's the interval between that you can actually duplicate their card? So for example, I'm playing a princess and then immediately play Ice Spirit.
Yeah.
Which one is it gonna mirror first?
I think it kind of worked quite well when we had like this lock-in time, hypothetically, where a couple of seconds would pass before it would then switch over to the next spell.
Yeah, and then you'd have this big backlog of cards, and it became very difficult to use, or very, very niche situations.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see it tried again. I think there's potential with that. I think
there is potential. We just got to figure out a way, hypothetically, to make it work a little bit better. We sort of are sitting on it, hypothetically.
So what would you consider the craziest troop that we've tried?
Craziest. It might have to be the Elixir Monster.
Whoa, what is the Elixir Monster?
The Elixir Monster was this idea that the elixir has somehow mutated into this monster, and once you place it down, it goes forward, and if you attack it, it splits into two, much like the golem works. But the thing is, those little elixir mites, I don't know what you would actually call them, they would regrow back into full-size elixir monsters if you left them alone. And so you could
multiply, right?
Yeah, you could keep splitting them and regrowing into these giant like elixir monsters.
How would you defeat this? Like, well, it gets out of hand.
Once they kept splitting, the smaller elixir mites were quite weak, so you could take those out quite easily. Okay. So maybe like a Valkyrie would work, but it's a very scary card to like leave alone.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We found like, oh man, it was so hard defeating them that you would just get overrun really quickly.
Do you think there's any kind of way that we could balance that to make it work?
I'm not sure. I think it would be a really fun boss if we had bosses or something like that.
It's a unique mechanic, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, it would be a very strong card. Maybe 11 elixir cost. I don't know.
Maybe for a special challenge.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Cool.
Bangs, can I talk a little minute about the butterfly spell?
Oh, you mean tornado?
No, it was originally the butterfly spell. And this was actually...
Why did we put the butterfly spell in the game?
I was very proud of this spell. This was my idea. No one had belief in it, right? No one believed in me. But...
I believed in you.
Thank you, Bangs. This is why you're here. So what the butterfly spell is actually has evolved into the tornado spell. But basically, it was a field of butterflies that would distract the units and go towards it. So I guess the lore of Pecker is she's very distracted.
Butterflies.
Yeah, she's very distracted by butterflies. So I figured a field of butterflies would be quite funny and quite cute, and add something to it. And then it got into a giant tornado. I don't know how it evolved into that, but I think it's definitely for the better because now it pulls troops. So it's communicates much more easily than a butterfly spell did. That
was the issue, wasn't it? Like you'd see this little tiny butterfly on screen going around.
And you'd be like, what is that?
What's going on?
It was much more a visual problem than it was a design one, I think.
Yeah. Maybe we should put a pancake spell in there as well.
Ooh, raining pancakes.
What would you say is the most game-changing spell that we've tried?
Ooh, we had this spell called Portal. And it's exactly what you think it is. It was a portal to another space.
Dimension.
Yeah, but it actually worked. So it's quite difficult to explain audibly. It's more of a visual thing, but I'll try my best.
I'll just describe what you're doing with your hands.
Right.
Yeah.
It's, my hands. Why are you scratching your head? Yeah. Basically, you would put down this ring that would create this portal, and it would mirror it using the middle as a mirror. So if you put it on the left, it would mirror it on the right.
So you've got it on the left lane, and then...
Yeah, you would place it on the left lane, and it would create another portal on the right lane.
Okay.
Sort of equidistant to whatever it was at the midpoint.
Yeah.
So
we're getting mathsy here.
Yeah, technically. So what you could do is have this big push, coming on the left lane.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I gotta put down all these troops to defend it. And I go, portal, see you later. Portal over to the right side and smash that rat tower instantly.
Okay, so it's the attackers units that get...
Right, it would only be the attackers' units that would get transported over. So
the defending would then just end up starting to sort of counter.
Yeah, the defenders would be like, where do they go? But then I guess it was almost balanced because the defenders would have that push on the other side, but you're already so far ahead on the other lane that it would take time for the defender to come to your side.
Yeah, I can imagine that sort of causes a lot of base races. It's like just going for the 3 stars straight away.
Yeah, exactly. So that was probably the main reason why it got shut down.
Will it ever come back? Do you want it to come back?
I mean, it was fun. It was fun. But would it have killed the game? I don't know.
It's generally what we're trying to avoid.
Right. So Bangs, what failed card have we made and tested that you would like to see back?
Back from the dead.
Yes.
I'd like to see Mega Pecker.
Ooh, Mega Pecker. Yes, I love Mega Pecker.
We've got the mini Pecker, we've got the Pecker. This guy is like...
Mega was the natural progression.
Yeah, and this is one of those cards where you sort of just come up with a name first and work out how to make it work.
Yeah, we're like, Mini? What's the opposite? Mega? Perfect.
And we've been messing around with different sort of mechanics that he could do. I think one of the first ideas was infinite damage.
Ooh, what does that mean?
This will destroy anything in one hit. Even the King Tower.
Whoa.
Just one.
I think that makes it so scary.
Yeah, imagine that with a portal.
Oh, jeez. Some other iterations that we tried with Mega Pecker was actually, when it died, it would spawn a mini Pecker. So almost like the mini Pecker was inside this giant robot Mega Pecker, and that didn't seem to work well visually. It was confusing.
Lost,
exactly. Yeah. You would have this kind of robot explode, and then this little mini Pecker would come out, and you'd be like, "What? When did that happen?"
And the units that would normally counter a Mega Pecker, because he's kiteable, is basically it. Like you need lots of small units. Also counter a mini Pecker, so it's just leads to, I guess, not that interesting gameplay.
Yeah, and we've also tried things where it had a sort of a bowler-like attack, where it was a wave attack, or things such as it was uninterruptible. So even if you zapped it or lightninged it, it would still finish its final hit.
I'd like to see Mega Pecker come back. I don't know what his form is.
Yeah.
But he just looked cool.
He did look cool.
He was such a badass.
He was almost like a tank. He had these tracks that he would run on, and he was just bouncing up and down like, and it would just swing, and it looked cool.
We just need to work out how to make it work. I think like maybe like people on the forums, if they want to solve that problem for us, we're
talk
all ears.
to Tim.
Yep, talk to Tim. He's actually in the room and he's giving a thumbs up.
We're gonna riff.
Riff time.
Riff time. Barbarian Launcher. Tell me about it.
It's basically a building that spawns barbarians, right?
Yes,
so
it shoots them out of a cannon or some kind of catapult or a sling or something like that. I don't know. How would you launch a barbarian?
You put him in a cannon, right? And
yeah,
like a clown.
Yeah, we tried different iterations of this, you know, out of a cannon, but it looked quite like a mortar shooting barbarians. So visually, it wasn't communicating well.
Yeah, it is exactly that. It is a mortar shooting barbarians. I think we even used that graphics.
yeah. We just a placeholder mortar, and it was shooting these flying barbarians out.
The best part though was the sort of the visuals that had of a barbarian flying through the air. That was just so good.
But it was also interesting trying to figure out what the targeting was for it. Like, does it go after buildings first, or you know, is it a one straight line kind of thing, or does it actually work like the mortar?
Yeah.
So we had it going for a while, but I think we just sort of paused on it because we found cooler cards that could actually work a lot better. So I think that card not necessarily failed, but maybe just took a pause.
Yeah, they didn't lead to sort of many interesting situations, I guess.
Right.
What troop do you think that, like, on paper it sounds great, and it's like a really good idea, it's just like a no-brainer, but when in reality we put it in the game, we try it out, it didn't work?
I think I know what it is, and I think I've seen it a lot on the interwebs. It has to be dragon. People are like, where's the dragon? Well, we tried it. And one of the main reasons it didn't work is because it's too large. Like, if you think about the dragon, it's got this giant wingspan, and basically anything under it would get covered up. So you couldn't see your skeletons, your tiny troops like that.
Yeah.
And is actually how the baby dragon evolved, because we needed little tiny wings to not cover up the other troops. So that's how the baby dragon came about. It was actually an evolution of the dragon.
What is a unit that sounded ridiculous and you put it in the game and it was ridiculous?
It was synchronized ballet dancers.
Whoa.
No, I'm just kidding. It was actually maybe the Trojan Horse. So basically, it worked exactly like the Trojan Horse in mythology.
In Monty Python.
In Monty Python, yeah. It would hide, it was this giant horse, and it hid troops inside of it. The problem was, again, a visual thing. It was enormous. This thing, when it turned, it was just covered up so many troops and so many other things that, again, it just didn't work.
How do you choose what troops to put inside?
Whoever can fit, basically. Yeah. You wouldn't see a giant in there just kind of squeezing in.
Okay, but does the player choose that, or is it?
Gosh. I think it actually was predetermined. It had, say 6 goblins in it or something like that.
Should be like a surprise, right? Because you never know what's inside a Trojan horse.
Right, yeah, that's the present you don't want to get.
Yeah. So we can make this work, right? The visuals, you need to just cut them down a bit. So
wow, we're actually coming up with a card right now. It is actually like a surprise gift troop.
Happens all the time, right?
Yeah, you place down this gift and anything could pop out, like one little skeleton, or bam, you got an expo in your face.
This sounds like the worst card ever.
I mean,
maybe we can make a challenge event out of it, right?
yeah. I mean, we'll play it out. We'll test it. We'll see how it goes.
And we'll probably discard it.
Womp.
Such is life. So thank you for tuning in today and listening to us go on about our failures and things that didn't make it into the game.
Yes, thank you guys for listening. Be sure to comment in the comments section and tell us what you guys want to see next time on Radio Royale.
Things like, background info, like behind the scenes.
I'm Cip.
And I'm Bangs.
And we'll see you in the arena.
Arena?
The arena.
Yeah.